that during the budget we had mentioned that we will be setting up a national bank which will fund infrastructure and also any developmental activity. You're all aware that there have been at least 3 or 4 attempts in India earlier to have alternative investment funds. One was, of course, you knew, IDBI, and several such attempts had earlier been taken up. But gradually, because they either changed their nature of business or for different reasons, we ended up with no bank which could take the long-term risk and fund development, because the risk is very high here. So even from July budget of 2019, we had made this announcement that government will be looking at having a national infrastructure pipeline and look at sovereign funds and others who can fund us. I had announced 111 lakh crore for a pipeline which had more than 6,000 at that time in December 2019, more than 6,000 such greenfield and brownfield projects which needed to be funded. So we have acknowledged that both development and financial objectives will matter for setting up a DFI, and therefore, whilst we mentioned it in the budget, but even as the budget session is still on, the cabinet is already cleared the setting up of a development finance institution. And here I wish to thank the Honorable Prime Minister, who constantly has kept the gentle nudge on us to say, you mentioned it in the budget, and how many of the budget's steps are going to be in time implemented so that the stimulus gains momentum and sustains that gained momentum, and therefore you have to get going with the decisions which have all been announced in the budget. And that is why I take 1 extra minute to tell you that I'm happy today the cabinet has cleared this bill through which we will have an institution, an institutional arrangement which will help in raising long-term funds. The budget provides for the initial amount. I had announced it in the budget saying capital infusion from our side would be about 20,000 crores, and initial grant of 5,000 will also be made, and this year itself capital infusion is 20,000 crores. Additional increments of the grant will also be made within the 5,000 limit that has been given to the finance minister. Privatizing profit and nationalizing loss. Profit loss के ऊपर आज अचानक कितने ध्यान दे रहे हैं, जबकि in this government over the decades, I think what they have tried is only to privatize taxpayers' money. If I want to, in a light-hearted fashion, use the style of speaking which he has done, he accuses us of what? Privatizing profit. When in his government, they were privatizing taxpayers' money. You all know how. Privatizing taxpayers' money was what UPA government did. And probably even privatizing taxpayers' money for one family's betterment. So privatizing is only that. And second, nationalizing loss, did he say? Today public sector banks are loss-making and prompt corrective actions are bringing them out because of the telephone banking which happened during his time. His dadi would have probably nationalized the banks, but nationalizing of loss in the banks was during UPA's time. And I would want to add one more. Nationalizing corruption is what they did. So nationalizing corruption and privatizing taxpayers' money for the betterment of one family is all that Rahul Gandhi will have to take as a reply for that tweet which probably some outsourced fellow in his team is feeding him with. I think there should be some more intense homework done by Rahul Gandhi before he even starts speaking and throwing these kind of things using a spit and run technique. Stand there. Be ready for a negotiation or be ready for a discussion. You raise your points, we'll also answer you. Not throw allegations and go away.
हमारे चैनल को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब जरूर करें और नई अपडेट्स के लिए बेल आइकन दबाना ना भूलें।